Welcome to Trending Now USA. I'm Bella, and today we dive deep into a story that's stirring up conversations across the sports and entertainment worlds, a clash of words, perspectives, and reputations involving Serena Williams, her husband Alexis Ohanian, and the ever-opinionated sports commentator Stephen A. Smith. What started as a seemingly harmless critique has snowballed into one of the most talked-about exchanges of the season, one that reveals the tension between celebrity commentary, public defense, and the cultural power of Serena Williams' legacy. The story began earlier this week when a clip of Stephen A. Smith discussing Serena Williams went viral on social media. Smith, who's known for his fiery takes and unapologetic commentary, made remarks during an ESPN segment about Serena's past dominance and the state of women's tennis today. He mentioned how the sport hasn't seen another Serena yet, but also commented that her era was marked by a different kind of intensity and privilege that newer players don't necessarily share. That phrase, a different kind of privilege, didn't sit well with everyone. Within hours, the internet erupted with mixed reactions. Some said Smith was pointing out valid context about Serena's influence and opportunities, while others felt it sounded dismissive, perhaps even undermining her struggles and triumphs as a Black woman who fought through barriers in a predominantly white sport. Among those who took issue with the comment was Alexis Ohanian, the Reddit co-founder, entrepreneur, and Serena's husband, someone who's never been shy about defending his wife publicly. Ohanian reposted the clip with a subtle but stinging caption. He wrote, "Funny how the same people who built their careers talking about greatness can't recognize it when they see it at home." That dig was unmistakably directed at Stephen A. Smith, and it lit up social media like wildfire. Fans were quick to interpret Ohanian's post as a sharp clapback, and within minutes, hashtag Serena Williams and hashtag Stephen A. Smith were trending across X, Instagram, and TikTok. At first, Stephen A. Smith ignored the jab. But if you've followed Smith's career, you know silence doesn't usually last long with him. The following day, during his popular show, he addressed Ohanian's comment directly. Smith said, "Listen, I respect Serena. I've always respected Serena. She's the greatest of all time, period. But don't twist my words, and don't come for me like I'm some hater. I give credit where it's due." His tone was firm, measured, but fiery in that classic Smith fashion. He added, "And by the way, I don't need anybody's approval to say what I believe. That's my job. I've been talking about sports for 3 decades. I can call greatness when I see it and I can critique it when I want to. That's not disrespect. That's discussion." The audience applauded, but social media wasn't done. Ohanian posted again, this time a meme, a screenshot of Smith mid-rant with the caption, "Triggered." The back and forth soon became more than just a personal spat. It evolved into a cultural moment. Fans, commentators, and even other athletes started weighing in. Former tennis pros chimed in on both sides. Some said Stephen A. Smith was being unfairly villainized, while others praised Ohanian for defending Serena against what they viewed as coded criticism. By midweek, Serena herself hadn't commented publicly, but her name dominated every trending list from sports media to entertainment blogs. ESPN released a clarification statement saying Smith's remarks were taken slightly out of context, emphasizing that his segment was about the evolution of women's tennis and not about discrediting Serena. Still, the damage had been done. Viewers kept replaying the clip, pulling quotes, and dissecting every word. The more people analyzed, the deeper the divide grew. What made this incident explode wasn't just the content, it was the personalities involved. Serena Williams is a global icon, synonymous with power, perseverance, and the redefinition of women's sports. Stephen A. Smith is the face of high-energy commentary, a man who thrives on provocation but also carries influence that shapes public narratives. And Alexis Ohanian? He represents the modern celebrity spouse, protective, tech-savvy, and unafraid to use social media as his battlefield. Each figure brought their own following, their own values, and their own version of the truth. When those worlds collided, it created the perfect storm for online drama. As the story developed, more details came out. Insiders from ESPN revealed that Smith's original remarks were part of a broader discussion about the future of tennis viewership. He had mentioned Serena as a transformational force, but noted that the sport hadn't yet found another player who could match her cultural impact. It was in that context that he used the phrase "a different kind of privilege," referring, according to producers, to Serena's financial and social platform that allowed her to expand beyond tennis. However, in today's soundbite-driven social media landscape, nuance often gets lost. The clip that circulated online trimmed out the setup and left only the provocative line, which made Smith sound more dismissive than he may have intended. That didn't stop critics from pouncing. Commentators like Jemel Hill and Carrie Champion weighed in, calling out what they described as a recurring pattern, where successful Black women in sports face subtle forms of discredit disguised as analysis. Others argued that Ohanian's defense, though admirable, risked escalating something that could have been resolved offline. But perhaps that's the nature of our modern media culture. Every disagreement becomes public theater. As the dust settled slightly, Smith invited Ohanian to appear on his show to clear the air. Ohanian didn't respond publicly, but sources close to the entrepreneur suggested he's not interested in turning it into a TV moment. That didn't stop fans from imagining what that conversation would look like. Memes flooded Twitter with mock posters reading Stephen A. versus Alexis, the showdown. It was entertainment, conflict, and commentary all rolled into one, and it captured the internet's fascination with celebrity interactions that feel both spontaneous and symbolic. Behind the noise, there's a deeper question. Why do moments like these strike such a nerve? Partly because Serena Williams isn't just any athlete, she's a cultural touchstone. Her legacy transcends sports. She represents triumph over adversity, self-belief, and transformation of an entire athletic landscape. When someone appears to question or contextualize her dominance, it triggers an instinctive defense from her admirers. For decades, Serena endured criticism that her male counterparts never faced, about her body, her emotions, her fashion, even her parenting. So when someone like Stephen A. Smith makes comments that sound like they're minimizing her journey, even unintentionally, fans react with fury rooted in years of collective memory. For Stephen A. Smith, though, this controversy may not be as damaging as it seems. His brand thrives on confrontation. Every argument fuels his visibility, and this one has extended his reach beyond sports fans into entertainment and celebrity gossip circles. Whether you agree or disagree with him, Smith knows how to dominate a news cycle. Within days of the incident, clips from his response segment racked up millions of views. ESPN's social engagement spiked, and Smith's own podcast subscriptions surged. Meanwhile, Ohanian's posts continued to earn praise for their loyalty and sharp wit. Many hailed him as husband goals, admiring how passionately he defends Serena online. Others pointed out that Ohanian's tone, part sarcastic, part intellectual, mirrors the internet-savvy humor that made Reddit a success. It's a modern form of public relations, where being quick, clever, and protective resonates more than a formal statement ever could. By Friday, Serena finally posted on her Instagram stories, not a statement, not a quote, but a single image, a black and white photo of herself mid-serve, with the caption, "Still winning." No hashtags, no mentions, just that. The post instantly went viral, drawing millions of likes and endless interpretations. To many, it felt like the ultimate mic drop, a reminder that no debate, no punditry, no online dig can diminish her legacy. Serena doesn't need to argue. She just exists as proof of her greatness. Media analysts say this story encapsulates a key shift in how athletes and their families engage with commentary. In the past, critique stayed within sports journalism. Now, with platforms like X and Instagram, every spouse, sibling, or fan can clap back in real time. The line between professional commentary and personal territory keeps blurring. And that raises questions. Should commentators adjust how they speak about legendary athletes? Or should public figures accept that opinion, no matter how sharp, comes with fame? In Smith's latest podcast episode, he reflected on the controversy again. "People think I'm out here trying to attack Serena. I'm not. She's a queen, we all know that. I was making a larger point about how the sport evolves. But hey, in this world, perception is reality. You say one thing, they clip another, and suddenly you're trending for the wrong reasons. He laughed it off, but also hinted at fatigue from being constantly misinterpreted. Still, Smith insisted he wouldn't back down from telling it like it is. That's his persona, the outspoken voice who invites chaos but survives it. The story also highlights the delicate balance public figures must maintain between personal pride and public reaction. Alexis Ohanian's defense of Serena was rooted in love, but it also fanned the flames of discourse. Stephen A. Smith's response was rooted in professional defense, but it too kept the fire burning. And the audience? They played their part by amplifying every soundbite, every meme, every perceived insult. The result was a digital snowball, one that kept rolling long after the initial quote faded. By the end of the week, commentators were already dubbing it the Great Serena Debate. Some argued it was blown out of proportion. Others said it revealed something essential about the culture of celebrity in the social media age. Even non-sports fans got pulled into the story, intrigued by the personalities involved and the mix of intellect, passion, and pettiness that makes internet drama so irresistible. Through it all, Serena remains the center of gravity. Her career is beyond critique in the traditional sense. She's achieved too much, inspired too many, and broken too many ceilings. Every conversation about her becomes more than about tennis. It becomes about respect, representation, and legacy. That's why any perceived slight, even a poorly phrased remark, feels monumental. And it's why the world keeps watching long after the last match point. As for Stephen A. Smith and Alexis Ohanian, both are standing firm. Smith continues to defend his words as fair analysis. Ohanian continues to post cryptic emojis and proud husband content. Neither seems likely to apologize or retreat, because in their worlds, retreat isn't part of the playbook. What's clear is that this story won't fade easily. It's not just about one comment or one clapback. It's about how celebrity ecosystems now operate in the open, where reputations are shaped not just by achievement, but by how people handle being challenged. So, what comes next? Maybe a mutual acknowledgement, maybe silence, or maybe another viral clip. Whatever happens, the conversation around Serena Williams' legacy, media criticism, and modern celebrity defense isn't going anywhere. This is the era where sports and social media collide, and where every word, no matter how small, can spark a cultural wildfire. I'm Bella, and this is Trending Now USA, where we bring you the stories shaping conversations in real time, from the court to the culture and beyond. Stay tuned, because this one's far from over.